So let's stop there for a minute and let's talk about some world events if we can. There's stuff that's happening, as we establish ourselves in preparation for World War III. And there have been a number of people who have walked us to the brink. President Trump, of course, has no problem walking us right to the brink. But there have been other people who have walked us to the brink. There's an uncontrolled deep state which is walking us to the brink. And of course, Israel is pushing us to the brink every moment. They can't wait to start a war with Iran to force the United States into yet another war to fight on behalf of Israel. And this is going to be a huge mistake for everybody involved. And in the meantime, you have China, which is also pushing for war because China will not relent. China is very active in Latin America and Central America and in Africa, and of course is moving with dominance throughout Southeast Asia. My daughter was recently in Myanmar, and she said in Myanmar, the Chinese are putting in a highway and a railroad. They didn't even ask permission from the Myanmar government. We're coming in here and putting in a railroad and a road, and shut up, we're coming through. No troops involved, that's just what we're going to do, right? Of course, China made Tibet disappear off the map entirely, and they are preparing to make Taiwan disappear off the map entirely. So, when you see this vexation, and of course, from my point of view, I'm just going to tell you, the Chinese communists have created a Techno Fascism, which is a greater tyranny than any tyranny that has ever been seen by mankind anywhere. And it's being done using advanced technology. Now, this advanced technology was developed for China by Google and others, Facebook and Microsoft, which have cooperated. But Google is the primary architect. Google using who? Software engineers in Israel who are taking American tax dollars and making sure that China creates a techno-fascist state because they believe in China's ascendancy and they believe in it using American tax dollars to get there. Okay? Very important thing to know. And they have told many people that they expect China to be the ascendant power and that the United States will be completely eclipsed in its power. We're basically going to be a smoldering ruin. If you look at the Deagle report, the Deagle report says there'll only be 25 million people living in this country by 2025. What do they know that we don't know, right? So when you see this stuff, if you look at that social credit system that they have going on in China, where they have facial recognition software, the police now have special glasses. They can put glasses on and they can look at a crowd and they can see people who have low social credit scores in their glasses. They're alerted. That person there, that person there is a debtor. That person has a low credit score. That person is a Christian. That person is Falun Gong. That person has criticized the government. They can see it immediately in their glasses. And so those people are denied any kind of living rights whatsoever. They can tell you, okay, your social credit score is so low because you're a Christian. You can't travel by plane. You can't travel by train or by bus. And if your credit score gets low enough, well, I'm sorry, you have no right to a credit card or a debit card. You have no right to a bank account. And furthermore, you have no right to rent anything or to buy anything. So, they make you homeless. Now, before we go saying that the Chinese are the only ones doing this, we have a significant homeless problem in the United States, 75% of which are men, homeless men. Homeless men who have been kicked to the curb, summarily kicked to the curb, in many cases by what I'm going to call unlawful divorce courts that have destroyed one man after another, taken his life from him entirely. And these guys now live, having given up on life, they live under a bridge or they live in the woods or they live in a tent somewhere under an overpass. But look, there are many people who are meth abusers and heroin abusers who have no intent of ever paying a bill. But you're seeing that we also have our own homeless problem. We have a problem where we have kicked people to the curb unceremoniously with no regard for life whatsoever, which is not surprising. If we will kill our infants when they're 9 months in the womb, who else will we kill? We'll kill anybody at any time for any reason. There's no grounds for valuing human life. Why should we value human life? We're willing to take the innocent life of a baby. Why do we value human life whatsoever? Anybody who we don't like, kill them, kick them to the curb, make them die, make them suffer. And the genocide that was proposed in Bertrand Russell's book, The Impact of Science on Society, a 1953 book, he proposed that the best form of genocide is, of course, starvation. That you want to starve the unacceptable people, the people you don't want in your social order, you starve them to death. So people who are fearing the guillotine and the FEMA camps and all that stuff, forget that. Start thinking about being selectively isolated for starvation because somehow your views are incompatible with the Noahide laws that have been adopted internationally. Okay? So when we see this, we see that now China, of course, has warned its people 3 times. Xi Jinping has warned his people 3 times. Prepare for war. Now, the Chinese military, I don't know if you saw the parade that was put in downtown Beijing a year and a half ago, but they displayed a tremendous number of arms and a disciplined army. Now, do they have the experience in war that we do? No, they don't. Do they have the intelligence that we do in war? I don't believe they do. But they have 20 million men under arms. We have 1 in the best case scenario. That's calling up all the reserves and calling up what few American men are actually capable of passing a boot camp test. They estimate 70% of American men could not get through boot camp.